Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to FarmTech Shade Panels and Shade Systems webinar. We're happy that you're joining us this afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce Zachery Carr. Zach is one of our national account managers here at FarmTech. Today he will explain how shade panels and shade systems allow you to shield your investments by eliminating exposure to harmful sun while maintaining ideal ventilation. These systems can be an economical and efficient solution for any application. Today, Zach will show you how FarmTech can help you design the shade solution for your specific needs. Before we get started, I'd like to note that if you have a question for Zach, please send it in using the chat or question and answer box on your screen. We'll have a question and answer session immediately following the presentation, during which Zach will answer all of your questions about shade panels and shade systems. I will now hand the mic over to Zach and we'll get started. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, my name's Zach Carr. A little bit about me. I have 4 years of experience in horticultural sales. Prior to my career as a salesperson, I was a commercial plant grower for 2 years in Somers, Connecticut at Grower Direct Farms. And prior to that, I majored in horticulture at the University of Connecticut. So welcome to our webinar. We're excited to have you. Some topics that we're going to be covering today. We're going to talk about our company. We're going to talk about shade, applications, how to properly install shade, custom orders, and what FarmTech can do for you. So a little bit about our company. We're the leading manufacturer of agricultural buildings, products, greenhouses, and high tunnels. We've been in business since 1979. That's 33 years running. Owned and operated in the USA. Manufacturing and distributing center is in Dyersville, Iowa, and our corporate headquarters, where I sit, is in South Windsor, Connecticut. We have over 400 employees between the two locations. So here's a couple pictures of our technology center. Here at FarmTech, it's been our mission to provide the highest quality products at economical prices and excellent customer service. Now we're taking our goal of serving you one step further by sharing our knowledge and expertise at our technology center. So we have a state-of-the-art facility with state-of-the-art equipment, 2 greenhouses, a 35 by 48 and an 80 by 50, both equipped with retractable shade, aqua-cool evaporative cooling pads, and hydroponic growing. So by attending the Technology Center, you can learn about the benefits of controlled environment agriculture, attend seminars and live demonstrations, stop by to speak with our greenhouse experts. And our greenhouse is really focused on hydroponic. We also touch on field growing, water solutions, and more. So what is shade cloth? We'll get started on shade here. Shade cloth is a lightweight fabric that provides animals, plants, and people protection from the sun. So very simple. It's perfect for humid areas when misting or fogging may not be enough to cool your crops or livestock. It can be used with greenhouses, both inside and out, hoop structures, and field applications. Additional uses include fences, windscreen, privacy barriers. Shade material is rot and mildew resistant, so again, it's good in high humidity areas, and it does not become brittle. So we'll continue with what is shade cloth. It offers superior ventilation, improves light diffusion, and keeps the greenhouse cooler. At the same time, it lowers your energy costs by reducing the need to run fans in the warmer months. Installing shade is quick and easy. And it's again, and taking it down is quick and easy. Available in percentages ranging from 30% to 90% to suit whatever use you have. Vegetables tend to go from 30 to 60%. Humans are from 80 to 90. Okay. So more on shade here. It's affordable, extremely durable. We use it inside or outside greenhouse or hoop structures. We touched on that earlier. On the market, you'll find 2 types of shade. The first we're going to talk about is knitted. That's what we sell. Knitted shade is ripstop. It's non-fraying. It has an extremely long life expectancy, as opposed to our competitor's shade, which is woven. woven shade will fray at the edges and has a very low life expectancy. So the next type of shade is our Aluminet reflective shade. It's made from metallized high-density polyethylene. It's basically embedded with chemicals that prevent it from oxidizing. It's UV resistant. All these things make it extremely durable outside under the sun. It does not break down. It helps to create an optimal growing climate because it reflects the sun's radiation rather than absorbing it and re-radiating it downwards. It is 100% reflective. It's popular in the southern states or areas with high sun exposure. It assists in controlling light, temperature, and humidity balance inside the greenhouse. It controls air movement when used as an interior shade, creating somewhat of a baffle effect. Reflective shade screens are also energy saving, so in addition to cooling during the day, these screens, when used as an interior shade, also retain heat at night. It provides uniform shadow, great diffuse light transmission, so no crops are getting shaded more than others, and it offers a dual functionality. So again, keeps out the unwanted heat during the day, and during the cooler seasons, it can be used as a heat blanket, keeping heat inside the greenhouse. Okay, so why we use shade? The first reason I came up with is reducing vegetable temperature. Vegetables vary in their sensitivity to the heat depending on the crop. Too high of temperatures can negatively affect things like seed germination, flower bud development, and most importantly for you guys is the fruit set. Some examples of negative effects include poorly shaped heads on broccoli and cauliflower, bitter tasting lettuce, bolting spinach, a stop to production in certain tomato varieties, and even flower and fruit abortion in pepper plants. So there's a lot of different things, and that's just a few that high temperatures can do to fruits and vegetables. The next reason for shade cloth is to reduce the light intensity, which is different from reducing temperature. So for vegetables, we want to reduce the temperature, but not so much light intensity. We like the light. Vegetables need the light to photosynthesize and make their fruit. On the other hand, we have shade perennials, nursery stock, tropical plants, which are indigenously found under the rainforest canopy and have adapted themselves to a shadier type environment. So in this sense, shade is used to reduce light intensity, the amount of light coming through to the plants. Many perennials and shade-loving varieties of nursery stock can withstand full sun during the winter, but during the summer need protection by shade. A third application would be for cooling livestock, and this is hot time now. We're getting into summer, so there's a lot of cattle farmers calling in for shade, in which case we recommend a 70 to 90% panel. We can install these over pre-existing cold frames, hoop houses, or we can build you one. In addition to using 3-, 4-, and 5-way couplers to build shade structures, we can also send you out the hoops if you don't have them already. And these systems are commonly used in conjunction with aquacool misting systems. So that's something I've noted from my customers when they buy shade. It's really easy to hang a 3/4 inch poly tube underneath it with some mist emitters to cool the cows down. So now how to properly install shade over crops. And I've seen a lot of people make this mistake, which is why I put a slide in here for it. When you're installing shade for row crops, well, first of all, we offer a great product there. It's our premium row cover hoops, stock number 104155. 6 feet wide, 3 feet tall, keeps the shade off the crops perfectly. The key concept here is that shade should be kept a minimum of 24 inches above the ground. Anything lower than that, you're going to start to build up heat. So it's almost going to be a reverse effect. So we want to keep it above 2 feet off the ground. And I only recommend shade up to 60% for vegetables. Again, anything more, we're blocking out too much light. There's not enough photosynthesis. You're actually hurting your cause. This is another big reason people buy shade, and we've kind of adapted into this market by offering different shade structures for retail outlets and farmers markets. So not only does it provide a cool environment that is aesthetically pleasing for human beings, you know, we all know what it feels like to not have sunglasses on a bright and sunny day. Walking into a shade type structure at a farmer's market can almost be a little retreat from the sunlight. It also extends the shelf life of freshly picked vegetables and fruit, keeping them cooler during the day, essentially making you more money. Another big one here that we've seen from cut flower growers in Connecticut is the shelf life of freshly cut flowers. So you go out in the morning, pick your flowers. If you bring them out into the sun, they're going to wilt pretty quick. Okay, so custom orders. You guys have in mind, I want this percent shade and I want it to do this. Next, you need to decide how wide and how long you want the panel to be, how many panels you want it to be. We manufacture down to the inch, so custom shade sizes are available. We also finish the panels. Finishing, also known as the process of adding a reinforcing tape border around the shade panels, can be done by our staff. In addition to a neat appearance, the finishing edges around your shade material make it considerably easier to work with and to mount. Grommets punched into that reinforcing tape can be added as well. Reinforcing tape must be used in conjunction with the grommets in order to prevent them from pulling through the shade material. So if you want grommets, we do the reinforcing tape for you as well. When it comes to time to order, just please identify the length and the width and the grommet spacing, and we'll make it for you. So a few accessories for the shade panel. The snugger tie down. I saw a lot of these. It's pictured in the right-hand picture. It's a little 8-inch looped bungee with a plastic ball. Easily catches a grommet. Really easy to install shade using these. The shade clips. Second picture in from the left. A barbed jaw that bites down on the shade, providing an external loop for running curtain cord through, bungees, tie downs, whatever you have. And a very popular one in these last few years, lots of people are advocating these, is the fabric clip. So we make them to fit all sizes of pipe. If you're simply installing them over loop hoops or row cover hoops, that's the way to go, and we can do that for you. So, we've covered the bases. We make custom shade. We have all the available percentages. We have the knowledge. So why else would you choose FarmTech? Well, custom shade solutions from small panels we do all the way up to retractable shade systems. So this is huge, high-tech greenhouses, motorized retractable shades on the inside. We can do that as well. We're a reliable American company. All the panels are cut and manufactured in Iowa. We have more than 33 years of experience of doing these kind of things. We offer over 30,000 products. So in addition to your shade, what else are you looking for? We can get everything down to nuts and bolts. We're the one-stop shop for your horticultural needs. We can outfit your entire operation. We build greenhouses, we outfit greenhouses, and we do shade panels. Another great reason to shop with us, if you guys are looking for financing, we offer flexible in-house financing on large purchases. It's interest-free financing for up to 1 to 2 years. We also do there's a couple more programs running now for 3 years and 7 years. We do 6-month terms, deferring your payments in full at 0% for 6 months, and we lease orders over $10,000. So next step, if you have any more questions, you can feel free to contact. There's the 800 number for FarmTech. Okay, so now it's time for our question and answer session. We've built up a pretty good list of questions here while I was talking. Jim Schultz was the first one to ask a question. If our goal is heat reduction in the greenhouse for tomatoes in Massachusetts, what percentage would you recommend? Well, Jim, in Massachusetts, light intensity tends to be pretty average. It's standard for New England. Tomato crops like to have a lot of light. I know the greenhouses can peak up around 100 degrees during the summer. I wouldn't go any more than 50%. So if it's really bad, if you're having trouble getting temperatures low, go max it out at 50%. String your up and over dimension. Tell us what your length is, and we'll make you a panel. Okay, he just sent me another one here. We're seeing temperatures above 100 degrees right now. Well, shade is the first step to passively cooling your greenhouse. And again, I would still advise the 50%. Anything above that for tomatoes really tends to decrease productivity. because of the reduction in photosynthesis. If it's still a problem, then we'd have to look into other forms of cooling, like maybe a swamp cooler or an evaporative cool pad. Okay, Jim says if we want to limit heat buildup inside the greenhouse, is applying the shade cloth over the outside the best way to go? I would think that placing it inside, would still allow some heat buildup. A lot of customers like to put it inside for a couple of reasons. As I mentioned before, it also helps during the winter months if you're using aluminate to keep the temperatures up during the night, so you kind of create a more steady buffered temperature range. It also usually costs you less to put it on the inside because we need less material. As far as decreasing temperature further by placing it inside, I would say it's about the same. It's a little more flexible. If you have the truss work to support it on the inside, then I think it's a great idea. The next question, we have a 26 by 30 Gothic greenhouse from FarmTech. What's the best way to attach shade cloth? Okay, so if we throw a shade panel up and over the building, what I would do is install grommets around it. If it's a 26 by 30 Gothic from us, it probably has curtain walls. That's our bread and butter. We like to do curtains on our product. So I wouldn't want the shade to come any lower than the edge there of the curtain. I would probably recommend a canopy anchor kit. So rope or straps with ratchets tied to a ground stake drilled into the ground. The next option would be to put eye bolts or eye screws or lags into the baseboard of the structure and attach curtain cord that way to the grommet. If you space the tie downs every 8 feet, you can get the shade panel good and snug. You won't have to worry about it in the wind, and you can take it down pretty easily in the fall. And do you have a portable shade solution? From another one of our listeners here. So a lot of people, I've actually heard this from customers, they like to bring the shade only out into the garden only on the hot days, or if they're leaving, or they like to move a shade structure from garden site to garden site. A lot of our canopy systems, or the shade systems utilizing the 3-, 4-, and 5-way couplers, are very lightweight, very easy to move, and set up in new locations. So yes, we do have portable shade solutions. Even the row cover loop hoops are really easy to move. They just basically burrow themselves into the soil, and shade is fabric clipped to them. So all of these things can be easily moved. All right, we got a good list here. We still have a few more. Can you repair shade cloth if it's ripped? If it's ripped, it shouldn't fray. It should just stay to that rip. So you could actually sew it if you wanted to. There's really not any tapes out there that can fix it because it is more of like a porous material. It's not solid. The good news is that once ripped, it's not going to fray. It's rip stop, so the rip won't continue. The best you can do is to sew it up. Can you motorize shade panels? Yes, that would be in the form of a retractable shade inside the greenhouse. We've also seen motorized shade panels on the side of horseback riding arenas. Our curtain team here can do that for you. How long will the fabric last? Well, I have people calling back. We've been doing this kind of thing for 33 years, so certain accounts, I'll randomly pick up a farmer who's been with us since '97, for instance, and he's bought shade, and it's still perfect. So I'd give it a good 20-year life expectancy. And how do I determine how much I need? If it's for a greenhouse, the best thing I can say is to string your up and over dimension. You can either throw a ball of yarn up and over, you can tape measure it, whatever's easiest for you. That gets you your width, and then the length is the length of your greenhouse. I can make recommendations on the phone if you call in. Every project's different. And these two kind of go together, the last two questions I have here. Can pockets be sewn into shade, and can it be used as a curtain? So we can actually, instead of grommets, put pockets on the sides of these curtains. It's pretty popular in retail outlets for shade structures to have curtain sidewalls. If there's no need for shade or not as much shade, the owner of the canopy will roll up the sidewall to allow customer access or more sunlight to come in. And we do sell the hand cranks or automatic curtain openers for that application. And I think that's all of them I have. I'll wait a couple more minutes, but in the meantime, I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and I hope I answered all your questions. If you have any more, feel free to call.